opponents, spectators, or institution or conference administrators will not be tolerated, and their grounds for removal from the premises. And also, fans, the use of flash photography is strictly prohibited.
Yes, I got it in the mail yesterday. Yep. Thank you so much.
Today's starting lineups for Pasco-Hernando. Batting first at second base, number 25, Michael Haydeck. Batting second for right fielder, number 19, Brandon Lyman. Hitting third, number 27, third baseman, Connor Berry. Batting cleanup, playing first base, number 20, Ryan Iray. Hitting in the 5 spot, the DH, number 10, Nicholas Alessi. Batting sixth, shortstop, number 2, Anthony Casos. Batting seventh in left field, number 1, Michael Mayor. Batting eighth, catcher, number 8, Josue Sanchez. And batting in the ninth position in center field, number 7, Jermaine White. Pitching for the Bobcats, number 18, Taylor Rohrer. The head coach is Lyndon Coleman. His assistants are Chris Holke and Larry Beats. Starting today for your FSW Buccaneers, leading on, playing first base, number 34, Tyler Solomon. Batting second in right field, number 4, Mikey Burke. Hitting third, the DH, number 26, Tommy Joseph. The cleanup hitter is center fielder, number 1, Greg Gobianski. Shortstop, number 10, Thomas Bennett. Hitting sixth, left fielder, number 13, Victor Flores.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome live to beautiful City of Palms Park here in downtown Fort Myers, Florida, as we get you set for the final non-conference meeting of the season for your FSW Buccaneers baseball team. I'm John Vitas as we get you set for this 9-inning game. Again, the final tune-up for the Bucs before they play their conference schedule here in the year of 2019. Buccaneers coming off an impressive doubleheader sweep yesterday. After a rainout earlier this week, they decided to make up a couple of games, and so they played 2 games yesterday and blew out both opponents to improve to 17-3. In the first game, a 14-2 Mercy Rule win over ASA Miami, and then in the second game, the Buccaneers pitching staff threw a combined perfect game. 9 innings, they did not allow a base runner, and they beat the Elevate Baseball Academy 14-0. So the Bucs are 17-3 this year, and taking on Pasco-Hernando for the 3rd time this season. They beat the Bobcats twice already this year in closer games than the Bucs played yesterday, but still pretty convincing fashion for FSW as they look to finish off the season sweep of Pasco-Hernando here this afternoon. The Bobcats are 8-10 this year under first-year head coach Lyndon Coleman, and you see Coach Coleman and Coach Bezier currently at home plate as they exchange lineup cards for this Saturday afternoon game. It is gorgeous, a little bit warm here in Fort Myers, 84 degrees here for first pitch, 52% humidity. It feels like 86 on a day that will feature nothing but sunshine here in Fort Myers. Jesse Ferreira gets the ball here in the afternoon game. This will be his final tune-up before he starts his conference schedule. Ferreira was outstanding in his last outing, pitching a complete game to get the win after he had a couple of so-so outings before that. Ferreira is one of the top starting pitchers for the Bucs. FSW will face one of the best pitchers for Pasco-Hernando as Tyler Rohrer makes the start. He's a freshman. An ERA of 4.24 so far this year, but good peripheral numbers for Rohrer, having allowed only 16 hits in 17 innings, and he struck out a career-high 9 batters in a win over Florida Southern in his last start. And now we bring in the head coach of the FSW Buccaneers, Ben Bezier. Ben, good to be back.
Yeah, it's been a little while. It's good to see you guys.
So you get ready for this final non-conference tune-up against Pasco-Hernando, a team you've already beat twice this season. Stacking a little bit of a lighter schedule this week to get ready for the very tough conference play that comes up this week. You've had 3 wins already this week, 2 of them yesterday. How have you seen your team play over the last few days to make you feel good or bad about the tougher schedule that looms?
Well, originally we were supposed to have just 3 games this week, but we got rained out Tuesday, so we added a couple games just to make sure we got all the arms out before conference play. So we ended up driving over to Delray Beach yesterday and playing a couple games at their park. It ended up working out for us. We kind of overwhelmed both of those teams. We did what you're supposed to do against teams like that. We jumped them early and then just kind of kept our foot on their throat. So it was nice to see. I mean, this week was Dade. When we played Dade on Wednesday, I mean, we really dominated that game. All 3 games this week we've really dominated. So that part of it's been good. Our guys are doing what they're supposed to do.
And then yesterday, maybe the biggest surprise or the one thing you were most happy to see yesterday was your ace, Mitch Myers, getting back on track. Gave up just 1 run over a really nice start for him after a couple of tough outings before that, and I think you would agree that you need him to be right to go far this season. What did you see yesterday from Mitch that gave you a positive outlook on his season?
Yeah, he came out and he was just more aggressive, and he had the slider working. The first one he threw got hit for a base hit, and then he commanded it really well the rest of the time. So Mitch did a good job yesterday. He was not tentative whatsoever. He came out from the first pitch and was sort of, assertive. I'm coming after you, And he wasn't over the middle of the plate, which is, obviously, big. He was working the corners, and he really did a good job. It was good to see. I wouldn't say it was a surprise to see it, but it was definitely nice to see him get back to, what he's about.
Now you see this Pasco-Hernando team for the 3rd time this season here this afternoon on a gorgeous day in Fort Myers. What's their MO, and what's the best way to approach them to try and beat them for the 3rd straight time?
Well, we did beat them twice. We pitched really well against them both times we faced them. They're a good team. They really are. They're disciplined. They're well coached. I think they're just having a little bit of trouble with the bats right now. We're going to throw a bunch of guys at them today. I think 3, 4, 5 guys, something like that. They like to be aggressive on the base paths like us. So really with them, it's kind of like we like to run too, obviously. I think what ends up happening is whoever can get that running game going first, and sort of it's a little bit of a back and forth. And so we're probably picking over a bunch early if they're getting guys on just to make sure that, we can be the first ones to sort of show that aggressiveness because that says a lot. It's kind of like, last time we played them, we stole 9 bases. We were just, running wild, and that was really the difference in the game. We scored 7 runs, but we stole 9 bases. We were really putting the pressure on them. So when you're not hitting, and you're getting on base and taking advantage of mistakes that they make, that's really, the formula for beating Pasco-Hernando, but also beating a lot of teams is just being able to throw the first punch.
I would imagine this is one of the toughest games of the season to schedule in terms of the pitching because you've had 3 games already this week, and then you have your first conference game in only 2 days, so you only have 1 day of rest tomorrow. And, of course, those 3 games coming up against the State College of Florida, Manatee are 3 of your most important games of the season. So what's the plan today to get as many guys ready for that Monday game and definitely that Wednesday game to keep them as many guys as you can fresh for that series?
Yeah, so really what we're trying to do is we're trying to throw the guys today that are going to be thrown later on in the week, so hopefully we can stage it like that. We don't want to be rolling guys back, have these guys throw on Monday. That's why we threw those guys Wednesday and yesterday so that those guys would be ready for Manatee. And yeah, it's the start of conference play, but also for us, it's really not like we're not looking at it like these are 3 of the most important games. We're just looking at it like these are more games, for us to play against really good teams, which we've already done a bunch. So as long as we just maintain that approach and try not to make it anything different other than what we've been doing, that's kind of the formula for our guys is making sure they stay in the right mindset of, look, we've already played a bunch of really good teams. Nothing changes for us. It's just another game against a really good team.
Ben Bezier, head coach of the FSW Bucks. Thanks for a few minutes today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good one.
And we are ready for baseball. Beautiful day here in downtown Fort Myers, 84 degrees and sunshine as Jesse Ferreira delivers the first pitch of the day, a fastball that dents the outside corner for strike 1. Michael Haydak leads it off for Pasco-Hernando in the final non-conference tune-up of the year for FSW. That fastball dives low, 1-1. John Vitas, happy to have you along here this afternoon as the Buccaneers look to improve to 18-3 in the non-conference. Ferreira delivers, and this one is smoked to third, but caught by Josh McAllister for out number 1. Defensively for FSW today, in the outfield left to right, Victor Florentino, Drake Dobianski, and Mikey Burke. On the infield, the third baseman today is Josh McAllister. You just saw him make the first play of the day. Thomas Bennett mans shortstop with Jose Marcano at second and Tyler Solomon at first base. First pitch fastball to Brandon Lyman is outside for ball 1. Diego Milan does the catching, working with Jesse Ferreira, the right-hander, a transfer from Broward College. 1-0 is smoked into the hole, a base hit into right field. Lyman has himself a 1-out single. Well, this is a Pasco-Hernando team that you heard Coach Bezier talk about in the pregame. They've struggled to swing the bats this year. They're a normally solid program, 8-10 this year under Lyndon Coleman in his first year. So not a bad start, but probably not quite as good as they were hoping. But still a competitive JUCO team here in Florida that should give the Buccaneers a tougher test than they've been accustomed to this week. That one comes inside on Connor Berry for ball 1. This is the third meeting of the year and the final one between these teams. They played once here last week, once up in Newport Richey. That one's down and away for ball 2 on Berry. Buccaneers won both of those games decisively, but not overwhelmingly. the game here was a 5-0 final score. Rafael Santos tossed 7 shutout innings as Ferreira throws over. Then in Newport Richey, just a couple of days later, and this is just last week, Jesse Ferreira, who pitches today, made the start. That was his last outing and threw a complete game in a 9-1 Buccaneers win. So they've outscored Pasco-Hernando 14-1 in 2 games this season. But believe it or not, that's not the widest margin we've seen. You can just go back to yesterday to see how badly the Buccaneers have beaten up on some teams. This is their 4th game this week, FSW. Ferreira throws over once more. And yesterday, 2 blowout wins. You heard Coach Bezier mention the word overwhelmed the opponent, and that's exactly what they did to get to 17-3. They ended up playing 2 games yesterday, even though they were originally only supposed to play 1. That's a strike to Berry. But because of the rain out earlier in the week against Miami-Dade, they were supposed to play a Tuesday, Wednesday home-and-home with Miami-Dade, and then the Tuesday home game was canceled, so they scheduled an extra game on the road yesterday and took on a prep school called the Elevate Baseball Academy and won 14-0. Oh, by the way, they threw a perfect game. That was just minutes after they defeated ASA Miami 14-2 with the blowout or mercy rule applying in that game because it was a JUCO matchup. That one's outside for a ball on Berry, 3-1. So it was an 8-inning win over ASA Miami 14-2, and then they bounced back with a perfect game over 9 innings against the Elevate Baseball Academy. And so the Bucs are a little starved of pitching here today. 3-1 is chopped towards the middle, could be 2. Marcano handles, flips to Bennett. The turn on to first, double play. Taylor made on the high hopper, 4-6-3, and Ferreira faces the minimum in a 10-pitch first inning. Bobcats go quietly, and the Bucs will come to bat when we return. You're watching Junior College Baseball live from Fort Myers.
Team and school merchandise can be found here and online at FSWBuckgear.com. Go Bucks!
John Vitas welcoming you back live to City of Palms Park here in Fort Myers as the Buccaneers get set to bat against this left-handed starter for Pasco-Hernando. Freshman Taylor Rohrer makes the start today, Rohrer, the last name for this southpaw, who comes in with no record over 5 outings, 17 innings pitched for Rohrer. He's been real solid in his freshman season. A 4.24 ERA thus far with solid peripheral numbers, just 16 hits allowed in 17 innings, 15 strikeouts against 7 walks. The switch-hitting Tyler Solomon leads it off against this southpaw, and the first pitch in a scoreless game is fouled back and out of play, strike 1. 3 of the first 4 hitters today for FSW are switch hitters. And because the rest are all righties, it will be 9 right-handed bats for Rohrer to face today. And the 0-1 to Solomon is a fastball on the outside corner, strike 2. Mikey Burke on deck, and then Tommy Joseph bats third, the designated hitter in this game. Those are the opening 3 against Rohrer. Out of the line, they set up away, and the pitch hits the spot, but it's just off the plate, ball 1. Drake Dobianski, the center fielder, bats cleanup, with Thomas Bennett, the shortstop, batting 5th. The 6th hitter is the left fielder, Victor Florentino. Rohrer ready. The 1-2 offering is fouled back and out of play. Josh McAllister will bat 7th. He's the third baseman. Jose Marcano at second base bats 8th. And Diego Milan, the catcher, rounds it out. 1-2 on the Vanderbilt transfer, Tyler Solomon. Fastball up and away, 2-2. To set the defense for Pasco-Hernando, Mayor is in left, White the center fielder, Lyman Manning right, with Berry at third base, Cassos the shortstop, Haydak at second, Airy is the first baseman, and Sanchez in the squat working with the southpaw. Change-up that time. Another good take from Solomon to bring the count to 3-2. Solomon hitting at an even 200 this year, but he has done a lot more than hit for average. 8 extra base hits, 10 RBIs, and 17 walks to lead the team. And he's drawn the count full. Now the payoff pitch. And he smokes it out to deep center field. White going back, circling towards the gap, and he reaches up to make the catch. Terrific play in center field from Jermaine White, who robs Solomon of an extra base hit.
Mikey Burke.
That was some loud contact to start the afternoon, and now it'll be Mikey Burke. 2 of the top 4 hitters on the Bucks in terms of total bases are not in the lineup today. Connor Bagneski, Nate Kinch, both not in there. And the first pitch to Burke is a bunt attempt that he takes low for a ball. So the rest of the crew trying to pick up the load. Burke batting .268 this season with more walks than strikeouts and a team-high 12 stolen bases. That one's inside for ball 2. Well, the Buccaneers have had a fantastic season, and they've stuck with what's worked for them all year, which is pitching and getting on base. They are not a slugging type of team. The 2-0 is on the inside corner for a strike. They're not going to hit a ton of home runs. So far, they have 10 home runs in 20 games. But they can draw walks with the best of them. They lead the nation in walks. And Burke missing on the bunt attempt there, strike 2. Not only do they lead the nation in walks, they lead the nation in hit by pitches. And that was a problem yesterday. Connor Bagneski is out today after being hit on the arm with a pitch in the doubleheader. So they're missing one of their best bats. This one's chopped over the mound. Tough play for Haydak. Has to field the second hop. The throw to first is just in time to clip Burke. 4-3 on the ground out, and now there's 2 outs and nobody on. So that'll bring up Tommy Joseph, the two-way player. Now, Joseph has caught fire of late. He was well under the Mendoza line for the first month of the season, but now up to .256 for the year. And he takes a breaking ball outside for ball 1. And Joseph came off the bench against the Elevate Baseball Academy yesterday and went 3 for 4 with a double, a triple, and 3 runs scored. So he is really finding his stride now in his freshman year as he watches a curveball around his shoe tops for ball 2. That one is just a bit low. 3-0 now on Joseph. In the first game, Tommy had 3 RBIs. So when you combine it, he was 4 for 7 yesterday. And he takes a changeup low for ball 4. First base runner of the day for the Buccaneers, and it's Tommy Joseph who heads on down to first.
Number 1, Drake Dobianski.
Now Dobianski who went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored, as well as a double against ASA Miami in Game 1. And in Game 2, added 2 walks, a hit, and an RBI. So he was on base just about every time in 2 games yesterday as Rohrer tosses over to first. Not a huge sample size for Dobianski, but he has been probably the best hitter this year for the Bucks, at least in terms of the numbers. And again, far fewer at-bats for Dobianski, who has about half as many at-bats as Solomon, who leads the team. But you can't scoff at a .359 batting average as Rohrer throws over. And Dobianski with 11 walks in 17 games, 17 RBIs, which leads the team. So his on-base percentage is above 500. His slugging percentage is above 600. And he watches upstairs for ball 1. So this freshman has really started to assert himself in this batting order. And with Bagneski and Kinch out for the time being, Dobianski plays a larger role, batting cleanup here today. 1-0 breaking ball is in for a strike. Rohrer is uncorking the entire arsenal here in the first. Definitely a tough adjustment to make for a young freshman to have to face a lineup of 9 right-handed hitters. And that is not easy to do, and so far he has done a nice job as he throws to first again. Seems very composed out there for a freshman and seems to be locating the fastball very well. And we've seen the changeup and the curveball to go with it. Not overwhelming stuff, but he has shown the makings of a starter who can be very successful at this level, at least through the first 18 pitches. And now he has picked off the runner. The throw to second is just in time to get Joseph. Oh, they called him safe. The throw from Airy was in time to Cassos, but the tag did not get down on the runner. So Joseph, who was picked off there, ends up making it to second, and the inning continues. Oftentimes on that play, when the runner just takes off and doesn't stop, if the throw from the pitcher or the first baseman is bad, the runner will end up being safe. That time, both throws were accurate, but the tag did not get down as needed. And now a chance for the Bucks to take the lead here in the first. The 1-1 to Drake is a backdoor breaking ball that did not get there, 2-1. Joseph Crone is the home plate umpire today, with Vinny Harstad working the bases. Second baseman Haydak keeping an eye on the runner, Joseph. Breaking ball also did not get there, 3-1. The last one started outside the zone and almost made it back. That one started in the zone and then bent just away. So 3-1, a hitter's count for the switch hitting Dobianski. A run to the bat from Haydak and a turn by Rohrer. Rohrer is coming off his best collegiate outing. We mentioned the ERA at 4.2 for the year. He struck out 9 batters over 6 innings in his last start. 3-1 is hit towards second base. A bouncer to Haydak, who fields it and throws out Dobianski to end the inning. Joseph draws the walk, but nothing more. And we'll head to the second in a scoreless game. You're watching Bucks Baseball.
SuncoastCreditUnion.com. First baseman, number 20, Ryan Ira.
We welcome you back to sunny Fort Myers as we begin the second inning. No score between Florida Southwestern and Pasco-Hernando. Middle third coming up for the Bobcats with Ryan Airy leading it off. And Airy takes one low from Jesse Ferreira for ball one. Both teams with a base runner in the first, but unable to push anything across. Braden Lyman has the only hit as the backdoor slider from Ferreira is in for strike one. Nicholas Alessi will bat next. He's the DH today for Pasco-Hernando. This one is sliced over third, a foul ball, strike two. Anthony Cassos, the shortstop, is in the 6 hole, so we'll see those three here in this inning. Then the bottom third is Mayor, Sanchez, and White. The 1-2 to Airy is low. Ball in the dirt that time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Overall this season, Ferreira is 2-1 with a 2.75 ERA. This one is hit on the ground to second. Routine for Marcano, who slides to his left and throws out Airy. One away for Alessi.
The DH, number 10, Nicholas Alessi.
This is the 6th start of the year for Ferreira. He is the only pitcher for the Bucs to start every one of his games this season. Now up to 20 innings pitched for the year. He has that one complete game. Bucs have had 2 complete games this year. He's got one of them, and it came against this Pasco-Hernando team as the curveball is in for a strike. Not a strikeout guy, 13 strikeouts and better than 20 innings pitched now. But well under a hit per inning, just 16 hits allowed in what is now 21 innings. Another routine ball for Marcano. This one even easier, and he throws out Alessi for out number 2. He is a ground ball guy, gets some sink on the fastball, which is in the mid to upper 80s.
Batting 6, playing shortstop. Number 2.
Pitches to contact, spins a good breaking ball, and now he'll deal with Anthony Cassos. Breaking ball from Ferreira is outside for ball one. The Bucs used so much pitching yesterday. They had to get through 17 innings worth of pitching after they played a game on Wednesday as well. Breaking ball is low. And now the rotation has been set for the first week of conference play. Ferreira, who we see today, is going to pitch on Friday in the third game of 3 against Manatee, Sarasota. This one's pulled foul, strike one. And this series coming up this week, and we mentioned it to Coach Bezier, I called it maybe the most important series of the year. It's the first series of conference play against maybe their toughest competition in the division. 2-1 is inside for ball 3. If you're unfamiliar with how the playoffs work here in junior college baseball, at least for the state of Florida, there are a handful of divisions across the state. A 3-1 is hit well out to left field. Florentino turning around, gets spun around on the warning track, and he makes the basket catch to end the inning. A 1-2-3 second for Ferreira. We'll explain the whole playoff scenario when we get back because it is going to become very relevant on Monday. The Bobcats go in order. Buccaneers come to bat after this.
The shortstop, number 10, Thomas Bennett.
John Vitas bringing you back live to Fort Myers. Bottom of the second, we have no score as Thomas Bennett leads it off against Taylor Rohrer, who worked a hitless first inning. Florentino and McAllister will also bat in this inning against the lefty. 21 pitches in the first for Rohrer, but he got through it unscathed. And the first pitch to the Buccaneer shortstop hits him. Got him on the front leg, looked like the left thigh just above the knee. And Bennett will hobble down to first. So the leadoff man on immediately, and now it'll be Florentino. So this is the final non-conference game of the year for Florida Southwestern. Every game after this is ultra important. The way that the postseason works in JUCO baseball is you see Bennett walking beyond first to try and regain his strength here. There are a handful of divisions across the state geographically based. So most of the teams in FSW's division here on the southwest coast of Florida, in their division there are 6 teams, all of them very solid. And in order to move on to the Florida State playoffs, the Suncoast Conference is the league that encapsulates all the Florida JUCO programs. You have to finish in the top 2 out of 6 in the division. Not easy. Throw over to first, and Bennett is back. And there are 3, if not 4 teams in the Bucks division that could really, really make some noise, not only in the regular season, but if they make it to the Florida State playoffs. I believe that's an 8-team tournament, and then from there, the champion of the state of Florida moves on to the College World Series as Florentino fights one off on the right side, strike one. I believe there are also 8 teams in the World Series, and whichever one comes out of Florida usually is the favorite to win it all. So the Bucks have to finish in the top 2 out of 6, which of course they have a very good chance to do, starting the season 17-3. There are a couple of teams in the division that have suffered this year. But we mentioned that this week, upcoming, they have 3 games against the State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota, SCF, Manatee, whatever you want to call them. They are probably the Bucks' toughest competition to win the division championship. So they right away this season, they start the conference slate with their toughest opponent. So these are very important games. The way the conference season works, and it's really a pretty fair way to do it, they'll play 3-game series over 5 days. So they play Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In this case, Monday and Friday are road games. We'll be here Wednesday to broadcast that game at 6 p.m. as the fastball buzzes high to Florentino 1-1. And then later on in the year, the Bucks will play 3 more against the same opponent, where 2 games are here and 1 game is up in Bradenton. Throw over to first by Rohrer again. The important thing to note, though, is when we mentioned the top 2 out of 6 in the conference or in the division standings, the division standings only account for conference games. So all of the games up to this point will have 0 factor in who makes the Florida playoffs. So everybody is still 0-0 in the conference schedule. This one is lined over shortstop. That will fall into center field for a base hit. Bennett makes the turn and holds on at second. It's a well-struck single for Victor Florentino, and FSW has their first hit of the afternoon. So the first 2 men are on. The table is set for Josh McAllister. McAllister having a really nice season. He's batting .340 through the first 18 games, and through 18 games, he has struck out only 4 times. The toughest guy to strike out on this Bucks team, and that is important in this type of a situation. The corners pinch in expecting a bunt. Seems like a good time to lay one down if you're the Buccaneers. With first and second, nobody out in a tie game. Marcano and Milan are due up next. McAllister was set to swing, but he takes a curveball low 1-0. So with that season format in mind, you would think that the Buccaneers would put little importance on this game and push all their chips into the center on Monday against the State College of Florida. That's not necessarily how Ben Bezier is approaching it. He talked about it in the pregame show today. They're still using one of their best starters in Ferreira, and they're still going to try and win this game just as much as they would any other game. But they do have the rotation set for that 3-game series. Again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Ryan Gusto will get the first start on Monday. He has been their best pitcher this year and their top draft prospect. McAllister takes one at the knees, 1-1. Gusto was their top reliever for a while, and now he has been moved into the rotation due to need. And he was fantastic in his first start of the year, and he'll make another one on Monday. But the Bucks would love to have their best relievers all rested for that game. And so Coach Beesiger said any pitcher you see in today's game will not pitch on Monday, but will probably pitch either Wednesday or Friday. That one's outside ball, too. He already said that Ferreira will start the game on Friday against Manatee Sarasota, and then Rafael Santos will get the Wednesday start. So that's your conference rotation for now. Gusto, Santos, and Ferreira. All transfers from Broward College, where Coach Beesiger was last season. The 2-1 is on the inside corner for a strike, 2-2. At some point, you'll probably see Mitch Myers make a conference start. He was much better yesterday after a couple of really tough outings. Myers pitched the first game of the doubleheader yesterday against ASA Miami and went 5 innings, giving up just 1 run, and he struck out 8. So a really good turnaround for Myers, who will get some important games later on. 2-2 is grounded out to third. Berry will take it to the bag and get the lead runner. Hit too softly to turn 2. Good decision by Berry. And he gets the out at third, 1 away. And I think Bennett thought that was a foul ball because he was headed back to second. But he is out. Florentino moves to second. McAllister is aboard at first with 1 out for Marcano. Buccaneers really working Rohrer early. He's already up to 30 pitches with Marcano now at the plate. Pasco-Hernando hoping for a ground ball here to get out of the inning. Pitch to Marcano. Breaking ball, line into left field. That's a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third, and a wise move that is. And the bases will be loaded for Florida Southwestern. Marcano stroking the curveball into left. And every base is full for Diego Milan.
Batting 9 for the Bucks, the catcher, number 25, Diego Milan.
Well, good approach early on from the Buccaneers. They have worked Rohrer. They have taken the right pitches, swung at the right pitches. And Rohrer, who we can tell is a very good pitcher, has had to really battle. And now the Bucks will try and break the scoring seal, but not before we get a mound visit first. The infield came in with the bases loaded as the Bobcats show respect for Jesse Ferreira. They know they cannot fall behind by much if they want to win this game. Again, Pasco-Hernando has managed only 1 run in 2 games against FSW this season. And they struggled with Ferreira the last time they saw him. So the Bobcats are going to play for the win here, not try and risk anything, and cut down the runner at the plate here if they can. And so a meeting on the mound to assess this bases loaded 1-out situation. Milan started the year slow. He is the backup catcher for the Bucks, but had a nice day yesterday with 2 hits and 2 RBIs against ASA Miami. So we are ready. Bases loaded, 1 out. Buccaneers trying to get on the board in this scoreless game. The pitch to Diego is down and away on a curveball, 1-0. Now, if you are Rohrer here, you want to throw strikes because with the catcher running, a double play is possible. And I think that the reason they had that meeting at the mound was to remind the infield that there is a catcher at the plate, and so they've backed up the infield to try and turn 2 rather than bring them in, which they originally wanted to do. So they will try and get the double play. The only infielder that is playing in is the first baseman, Airy. And now the third baseman, Barry, comes in even with the bag. So at the corners, if it's any sort of a high chopper, they'll come home. The 1-0. Missed the corner. Tried that backdoor breaking ball again, 2-0. You can tell Rohrer likes his curveball. But it is a tough pitch to implement today against an all right-handed batting order. He's trying to back foot it a little bit, backdoor him. But it has only been semi-effective. So he'll have to use the changeup and locate the fastball. There's another curve, and again, it misses away. Ball 3. It's going to be a long day for Rohrer if he can't show some sort of a changeup here against an all right-handed order. Because the Bucks have been able to recognize the curveball and lay off. And now it's 3-0 on Milan. Fastball right on that outside edge, strike 1. And Rohrer has shown the ability to locate that fastball, which is important. Lefty is set. The 3-1. On the corner at the knees. Milan had thrown the bat towards the dugout. Now the count is full. Solomon on deck. You want to get him to the plate one way or another here. Nowhere to put Milan, and the count is full. The payoff pitch. In the dirt, he spiked it. Fastball brings home the first run of the day. It's an RBI walk for Diego Milan as Florentino touches home for the first run of the afternoon. 1-0 FSW. And the team that leads the nation in walks and hit by pitches already has some of those today. First time through the order, 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch, and 1 run. Buccaneers 1 for 6 against Rohrer, and now it's Solomon to try and extend the lead. Curveball is on the outside corner for a strike. Solomon socked one out to the warning track in center field his first time up, but a good running catch made by Jermaine White robbed him. 0 for 1. Outfield very deep against Solomon. The pitch to him. Change up. There it is, but it just missed down and away, 1-1. That was a good one, too. Rohrer out of Manheim, Pennsylvania. Trying to retire Solomon, who came down from Nashville, Tennessee, where he was last year at Vanderbilt. The 1-1. Inside, ball 2. Both of these teams have very similar rosters in terms of where the players come from. I'd say about 3/4 of the players are from Florida, but a couple of Puerto Ricos on both sides and a few players from up north as well. The 2-1 is fouled off. Solomon got a fastball he wanted, but could not square it up, and it's 2-2. The pitch. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. Terrific pitch from Rohrer, who freezes Solomon for out number 2. Great job by Rohrer to come back and get the Buccaneers leadoff man. And now it'll be Mikey Burke. Even if he gets out of this, it's been a long couple of innings for Rohr, who has really had to fight. 42 pitches already working here in the second inning. Burke the batter with FSW up 1-0. And he strokes this one to center. White comes in, and he dives to make the catch. Jermaine White saves at least 2 runs as he makes a diving catch on Burke to end the inning. Keeps his team in the game as we stay at 1-0. On to the third here at City of Palms Park.
For the Bobcats, left fielder number 1, Michael Mayor.
Michael Mayor leads it off for Pasco-Hernando as we begin the third inning. Jesse Ferreira back to work, and the fastball is in for a strike. Josue Sanchez and Jermaine White due up next. Mayor listed at 5'7", 150 pounds, and he watches a curveball in the dirt, 1-1. Mayor's from Key West, Florida, of course. The 1-1 is high for ball 2. Didn't know anyone lives in Key West. Thought it was just a vacation spot, but Mayor is from there. Pretty cool. 2-1. Chop to the right side. Solomon waits for it. Now is to flip to the pitcher covering, and Ferreira gets there in time to complete the 3-1 putout. That'll bring up Josue Sanchez, the catcher.
Batting eighth and catching, number 8, Josue Sanchez.
Pasco-Hernando at 8-10. They've played a lot of close games this year. They're a competitive team. 3 of their last 4 games have been decided by 2 runs or less. This one is lined towards the middle. That's going to get beyond Bennett and into center field. Sanchez pokes one into center, and the Bobcats have a 1-out base runner. They were shut out 6-0 yesterday against the State College of Florida, which again is the team that the Bucks will play this week.
Batting ninth and playing center field, number 7.
And then they were 2-1 in the 3 games prior to that. A 2-1 win over South Florida State, a 4-3 win over Florida Southern, and a 6-4 loss against Hillsborough. Breaking ball, and Jermaine White swings over it, strike one. Hillsborough is one of the other 6 teams in the Buccaneers division. Ferreira from the stretch with a 1-out base runner. And the slider didn't quite get there on White, 1-1. To give you we'll give you the overall records for the Suncoast Conference division that the Bucs are in. This one is sliced foul over the left side, strike 2. Again, these records do not matter, but it'll give you an idea of who the best competition is in the Buccaneers division. FSW has the best record at 17-3. So I guess you could call them the favorites in the division. The 1-2 is down and in for a ball. Good pitch, though, from Ferreira. Then the State College of Florida that we mentioned, they're in second place, 14-6. 2-2 to White. Breaking ball lined out to right, sinking on Burke, but he'll run it down. Mikey Burke gets to the baseball to make the catch for out number 2. So now to the top of the order for Haydack. Everybody else in the division is 500 or worse with their overall record. Polk State is 10-10. They're in third place and expected to be some decent competition. The next team down is Hillsborough Community College, which has a history of winning, as just about every team in the division does. Hillsborough is 9-11 this year. And then the other 2 teams have struggled early on. St. Petersburg College is 6-11, and South Florida State College is 6-13. Fastball yanked outside against Haydack, ball 1. Looking at some of the other opponents that the Buccaneers have played in NJCAA Region 8, which is the state of Florida, they've played some good teams. They played the College of Central Florida and lost. They're 19-1. Breaking ball's in for a strike there. That 19-1 mark for Central Florida is the best in the state, and the Buccaneers have the second best record in the state at 17-3. There are about 25 teams. The 1-1 is a foul ball. Got tied up there and strike 2. We were here a couple Saturdays ago for a doubleheader against Santa Fe. They split that doubleheader. Santa Fe is 17-6. Bucs played what was the number 1 team in the country, Chipola College, earlier this year, and they beat them twice. That one is lined foul as Haydack stays alive. And Chipola struggled this year. They're 9-9, no longer the number 1 team in the country. Buccaneers beat Indian River State a couple of times. They are 8-8. Miami-Dade, they've played a few times already. They're 11-9. 1-2, rolled towards the hole. Long way to go. Marcano can't get there. It is a 2-out single for Haydack. So a couple base hits in the inning for the Bobcats. And the tying run is in scoring position for Braden Lyman. And Lyman was the player who had the only hit against Ferreira in the first 2 innings. A single to right in the first. There are 2 Division II teams in the state of Florida. Of course, they play a lot of Division I teams to get games in where they don't have to leave the state. Lyman takes one in the dirt, ball 1. This Pasco-Hernando team is one of those 2 Division II teams. The other is ASA Miami, who the Bucs have played, I believe, 6 times already this year and have won all those games. Pasco-Hernando at 8-10. ASA Miami at 6-10, with about half those losses against FSW. The 1-0 is chopped up the first base line. That will stay fair. Solomon gloves it, steps on the bag, and the inning comes to an end. A 3 unassisted gets Ferreira through a scoreless third. He strands a pair after giving up 2 singles. We'll head to the bottom of the third here in Fort Myers. It's the Buccaneers 1 and the Bobcats nothing.
Leading off for the Bucks, the designated hitter number 26, Tommy Joseph.
3-4-5 coming up here in the bottom of the third as FSW looks to extend their 1-0 lead. Tommy Joseph greets Taylor Rohrer, who has really fought through 2 innings, and he deals one outside for a ball. 43 pitches for Rohrer, but he has stranded 4 runners. He'll deal with Joseph, Dobianski, and Bennett here in the third. 1 run on 2 hits so far for Florida Southwestern. That one's outside, ball 2. The Bobcats have scattered 3 hits, but nothing to show for it yet. (2-0) to Joseph. Is hammered out to deep center field. White going back near the gap, and he reaches up to make the catch as he stumbles to the ground. Another terrific play from Jermaine White, who has been the most valuable player defensively today for Pasco-Hernando. Solomon, Burke, and now Joseph have all been robbed by White. Now Dobianski, who grounded out to second base his first time up. Rohrer delivers. This one is hit well. Same spot. White, an easier chance this time. He gets there and makes the catch without having to leave his feet for the second out. That was the first ball where he did not have to fall to make the catch. He's now made 4 putouts through the first 3 innings, and that was the closest one to routine. 2 outs, bases clear, and Thomas Bennett will be the hitter. Boy, Rohrer would be very well served to roll through an easy inning here after needing 43 pitches in the first 2. The pitch to Bennett. Fastball downstairs, ball 1. Bennett with 1 homer this year. We saw that here at this ballpark. Really cranked one out to left field. The 1-0 is popped up. Towards the second baseman, Haydak has the ball in his sight, and he makes the catch at the back of the infield to end the inning. 3 balls in the air for Rohrer, who works a 6-pitch bottom of the third. We'll move on to the 4th. Still 1-0 Buccaneers.
Sponsor of FSW spacious room and suite at Hilton Garden Inn, Fort Myers features sophisticated decor with a light and airy atmosphere, perfect for work or relaxation. Get a perfect night's sleep. Enjoy a cook-to-order breakfast or dinner in our on-site restaurant, or grab some snacks from the Pavilion Pantry. When value matters, choose the Hilton Garden Inn of Fort Myers. Number 26, Tommy Joseph.
John Vitas bringing you back to Fort Myers as we begin the fourth, and a pitching change for the Buccaneers. Ferreira set to pitch his first conference game on Friday. Is going to get a little extra rest. He's done after 3 innings and 39 pitches. And Tommy Joseph is into the ball game, and he deals one outside for ball 1 to Connor Berry. So Ferreira, who went a complete game in his last outing, limited to just 3 innings today, again some extra rest before the conference season. Joseph deals inside ball 2. And Joseph, who is now in the bullpen after starting the year in the rotation, in for probably multiple innings here today. His team leads 1-0 as Berry takes outside 3-0. And with Ferreira only going 3 innings, Joseph has a chance to get a win today. That fastball catches the knees there, strike 1. This one is smoked to the gap in right center field. Burke won't get there as it rolls up the alley. Mikey circles around to get it. There's going to be a play at second. The throw on a bounce. Got him. No, he's safe. Bennett must have missed the tag somehow because the throw clearly beat Berry. But he's ruled safe at second base. It'll be a double for Connor Berry. So Ferreira goes 3 scoreless innings, no runs, 3 hits, all singles, 0 strikeouts, 0 walks, 39 pitches for Ferreira. He'll get a no decision, but he set his team up for a win. Breaking ball, backs up inside, ball 1 on Ryan Airy. Alessi to follow. This is an offensively challenged Pasco-Hernando team. Not terrible, but definitely below average with the bats. The 1-0, yanked outside, ball 2. Joseph having some trouble. He was the DH and then had to come in and pitch right after he batted in the bottom of the third. And he's a two-way player. He's done it his whole life, but can't be easy after focusing on hitting, running around the bases, and then having to go straight to the mound. A little over amped up, I think, here. And Derek Knatzer, the pitching coach, is going out there after that pitch that was pulled outside. Joseph seems to be throwing a little harder today, maybe again, over anxious as he tries to re-earn that rotation spot or a larger role. And Knatzer out there to try and settle him down with the tying run in scoring position. Pasco-Hernando as a team batting .239 this year. They're still averaging 4.5 runs per game, which isn't bad. Extra base hits-wise, they are right there with FSW. But they've drawn half as many walks as the Bucks. That one backs up inside, and he hit Airy. Tried to get a breaking ball over. And now the first two men are on base for Pasco-Hernando. And the Bucks do not have a whole lot left in the bullpen.
The DH, Nicholas Alessi.
Again, they played 2 games yesterday, so they do not have much left after accounting for 17 innings. And they also played 9 innings on Wednesday. Alessi is the batter, first and second, nobody out. Good chance here for the Bobcats. And the fastball is outside, 1-0. On Wednesday, Rafael Santos went 5 scoreless. Then Mark Davis pitched 2 innings, and Nate Madej pitched 2 innings. And now time called for, and Milan is going to go to the mound to speak with Joseph. Then in the first game yesterday, Davis came back through another inning, so you got to think Mark Davis is unavailable today. Then Mason Adams threw 2 innings, so you have to think he is unavailable today. Those are 2 of their best relievers. Then in the second game, they went by committee. So all the guys that threw yesterday will be able to pitch on Monday, but they won't be able to pitch today. Derek Rasher, 2 innings. Ryan Gusto, just 1 inning, but he's going to make the start on Monday, so he's definitely not pitching today. Robert Wigglenick went 3. Thomas Haggerty went the final inning. So you could use Haggerty for 1 inning perhaps, but all of those guys we mentioned are not available today. And, of course, the starter, Mitch Myers, in Game 1 yesterday can't pitch. Alessi takes one outside, ball 2. So just rattling them off the top of our heads. Pitchers that are unavailable today: Rafael Santos, Mitch Myers, Ryan Gusto, Robert Wigglenick, Mark Davis, and Mason Adams. Fastball off the outside corner called a strike, 2-1. And then, of course, Ferreira already went 3 today. So all your starters are done, obviously. So looking at the bullpen, the top 2 relievers, Adams and Davis, are not available. Wigglenick and Madej probably not available. That one's strike 2 on the outside corner. Rasher not available. So maybe you get an inning out of Haggerty. And then the only other guy that can help out Joseph today is Joey Mugavero, who I'm sure we'll see at some point in this game. So it's Joseph here, and then Mugavero and maybe Thomas Haggerty for 1 inning. The 2-2 is outside, 3-2. So the point is, Joseph better start throwing strikes, because he has backed himself into a corner here in his first inning of an outing in which he's probably supposed to go 3 frames. Already has thrown 13 pitches and yet to record an out. 3-2 pitch coming. Barry at second is the tying run. And now he calls for time. This is the 5th outing for Joseph, an ERA of .397. 8 strikeouts against 3 walks in 11 1/3. The payoff, nope, he's going to turn to second first. Nothing doing for Barry. The payoff on the outside corner, strike 3. That looked to be outside. Alessi pleads his case, but a huge break for Tommy Joseph, who picks up the strikeout and gets out number 1. So now Cassos with runners at first and second, and now 1 out. That's a huge call that went in Joseph's favor. Otherwise, it's bases loaded, nobody out. The runner takes off from second. The pitch is high. Milan's throw is down the line. In to score is Berry, and this game is tied at 1. Oh, terrible throwing error from Milan, who had a chance to throw Berry out for out number 2. Instead, he allows a run to score. It's a stolen base for Berry, and then an E2, and a costly one at that. McAllister is an outstanding defensive player, but he had absolutely no chance to knock that ball down as it was in the third base coaching box. That one dives outside, almost got by Milan, who's probably a little rattled after making the mistake, and it's 2-0. So 1-1 with the go-ahead run at third. The 2-0 is a changeup fading away, 3-0. Now Milan caught 8 innings in that game against ASA Miami, and as the backup catcher on a team that plays 3 or 4 games a week, he's usually catching 1 game a week, and today he's asked to catch back-to-back games. This one's fouled back for a strike, so that could have been a factor in the throw, and now almost allowing a pass ball, maybe just a little bit tired back there. I mean, he shouldn't be. He's a young kid, but again, probably the first time all year, if not in his college career, that he has caught on back-to-back days. The 3-1 is drilled out to center. That'll give Pasco-Hernando the lead. Long run for Dobianski, and he tracks it down. Airy tags from third. He comes in to score, and it's 2-1 Bobcats.
Left fielder Michael Mayor.
Sacrifice fly for Cassos. The base is now clear with 2 outs for Mayor. Good situational hitting by Cassos, who hit that ball a long way. And now Ben Bezier going to the mound to talk to Joseph. He's going to take the ball. Joseph done after facing just 4 batters. He gets 2 outs, but he gives up 2 runs and the lead. A right-hander coming in for the Bucks when we come back. It's now 2-1 Pasco-Hernando. We bring you back to sunny City of Palms Park here in Fort Myers. And a pitching change with 2 outs and nobody on. FSW now trailing for the first time today, 2-1, and Mason Adams has come in to pitch for the second day in a row. Michael Mayor is the batter, and he takes strike one. This is very out of the ordinary to have anybody pitch on back-to-back days, especially for it to be a freshman who threw 2 innings yesterday. 2 innings, he gave up 1 run on 3 hits, 1 strikeout, no walks. This one's chopped to the right side. Will it stay fair? Yes. Solomon makes the play. 2 in the inning. 2 pitches, one out, and that'll end the 4th. 2-1. Bobcats now leading.
Leading off for the Bucks, left fielder Victor Florentino.
6, 7, and 8 coming up for FSW as we begin the bottom of the 4th. 2-1, Bobcats now lead after they scored a pair in the top of the inning on the throwing error from Milan and the sac fly from Cassos. Rohrer back out there and facing Florentino, who fouls the first pitch back 0-1. Florentino has scored the only Bucks run. He singled with nobody out in the second. Buccaneers left the bases loaded in the second and then went down 1-2-3 in the third. So Rohrer settling in. He has outlasted the Bucks starter Ferreira, who was pulled after 3 innings. They try and give him some extra rest for next week. The reliever Joseph was pulled after 2/3 of an inning, and now you have Adams in there, who pitched 2 innings yesterday. The 0-1 almost hit Florentino. Did it? And I think he tried to sell it, but just missed the back toe. 1-1. That one is outside for a ball. Out of the wind, the pitch. Cued foul, late on a changeup, 2-2. The lefty delivers, and that's a beautiful pitch. Breaking ball down in the zone, and Florentino strikes out swinging. Rohrer is really starting to find his groove, locating all 3 pitches. Fastball, changeup, curveball. And now it's McAllister with 1 out and nobody on. Rohrer, second time through the order. 6 up, 6 down. And this is impressive for a freshman that doesn't have overpowering stuff, to show his coaching staff that he can handle one of the best teams in the state, let alone the country, second time through the order. As McAllister cranks one down the left field line, that's a foul ball. just over that jutting sidewall 0-1. There has been a couple great plays made in center field on well-struck balls, but other than that, not a ton of solid contact given up by Rohrer against a good lineup. Buccaneers hitting about 30 points better than Pasco-Hernando this year, and we told you about them leading the nation in walks and hit by pitches. The 0-1. Change up low, ball and a strike. The 1-1 is drilled to left field. Mayor comes in and he makes the catch. McAllister squares one up, but it's directly to the left fielder. 2 away.
Second baseman, Jose.
That'll bring up Marcano. First pitch coming from the lefty. And Marcano watches a fastball strike one. Rohrer kicks and fires. This one is lined to right field, sinking on Lyman, and he makes a running catch. 1, 2, 3 go the Bucks in the fourth as Pasco-Hernando begins to find their stride. They solidify a 2-1 lead as we head to the fifth.
Thanks. If you want to stay up to date on FSW athletics, news-press.com. That's your source for FSW athletic coverage all season long.
We welcome you back to Fort Myers as we start the fifth inning. Mason Adams back out there, and he deals inside for ball one to Josue Sanchez. 8-9-1 coming up for Pasco-Hernando. They lead this game 2-1. Swing and a miss against the hard fastball of Adams 1-1. Adams is a guy that throws 90 miles an hour. Just a few ticks behind their hardest thrower, Gusto, who makes the start on Monday. Adams, maybe their second best prospect. That one's high for ball 2. Depends who you ask. There are a number of guys on this Bucks pitching staff that can hit 90 miles per hour. The 2-1. Drilled out to center field. Long run for Dobianski. He will get there. Deep in the gap. He makes the catch to retire Sanchez. Now it will be Jermaine White. Maybe the biggest reason the Bobcats have the lead today. So it's some terrific defense in center field today for White. Adams now trying to give his team some outs. And that's in for a strike, 0-1. White flew out to right field his first time. And that breaking ball is spun in by Adams, strike 2. This one chopped to the right side, long run. Marcano flags it down. The underhand flip just in time to get the fleet-footed center fielder for the second out.
Second baseman, Michael Hayden.
It is unusual to see Tyler Solomon at first base. He's been the left fielder all year. With the injuries to Kinch and Bagneski, there is a need at corner infield now. Kinch has played first and third. Bagneski has played first and second. So those are the positions of need as the breaking ball is spun in for a strike to Haydak. McAllister, Marcano, Bennett can all play up the middle. McAllister has played the most at third base this year. 0-1 is fouled off the foot of Haydak, strike 2. You also have Warner Rincones, who's on the bench today. He can play second, third, and short. So again, the biggest position of need now is first base, because Kinch and Bagneski, your two primary guys over there, are both out, at least for now. And boy, would they love to get those guys back before too long, because they've been probably the two best hitters on this team, right up there with Dobianski and one or two more. But Solomon has been the guy they've chosen to come over and play first as a big-bodied athletic player. The pitch to Haydak is in the dirt, smothered nicely by Milan, and the inning continues. So again, we expect to see Mugavero at some point. Right now, they are really pushing Adams, who has looked sharp, pitching for the second straight day. The 1-2 offering just missed up high with a letter high fastball, 2-2. The pitch, curveball outside, a full count. Payoff pitch from Adams. Just missed. Tried to spin another breaking ball up there. It's a 2-out walk to Haydak.
Right field, Brayton Lyman.
So Joseph is fortunate that he did not allow an earned run. They cannot assume that a runner at third would have scored on any fly ball. So because of that, it goes as 2 unearned runs due to the error on Milan. Now it's Lyman, and he watches low for a ball. The second run was definitely going to be unearned because the runner got 2 bases on that throwing error. And then the next 2 batters were retired. So that was going to be unearned regardless, but the first run could have been earned. But because it scored on the sac fly and you can't assume that the runner would have scored on a fly ball, That is an unearned run. So 2 unearned runs in 2/3 of an inning for Joseph. As Adams throws over, 1 strikeout, no walks. And his ERA improves. 19 pitches, and that's all. And now it's the righty Adams pitching in back of Joseph and Ferreira. Fastball chopped towards the middle. Marcano misplays it. It rolls behind him, and the inning is prolonged. An E4 on a bad hop.
Third baseman, Connor Berry.
Another breaking ball that dives low, ball 1. So this inning started very benign for the Bucks. 2 quick outs for Adams. But then a walk and now an error have given Pasco-Hernando a chance to add on. Curveball that time for a strike as the right-hander gets even. Spin and a throw to second, and they did not get him. Close play. Good timing by the Bucks, but the tag just did not get there quite in time. Adams will look at second. And the pitch, it's in the dirt, gets away from Milan. And the runners move up to second and third. A wild pitch against Adams, who continues to throw curveball after curveball. And now Milan will go out there to try and settle things down. Well, as always, we encourage you to follow FSW Athletics on Twitter. Get live updates of all FSW athletics by following the Buccaneers at FSW Bucks. That's FSW BUCS on Twitter. Get more online coverage for FSW than most JUCOs. Recaps, stats, scores, and more on their website and on Twitter. 2-1 to Barry. Runners on second and third, 2 away. Adams comes home. And the curveball swatted to third, handled by McAllister. He's going to chase the runner, and he does to tag him out. McAllister, who lost his balance there on the reaching catch, decided not to make the long throw, but instead to tag the runner who was flashing in front of him, and he gets through the inning. Adams able to strand 2 after the error. We're halfway home from Fort Myers. It's Pasco-Hernando 2 and FSW 1. 9-1 and 2 up here for the Bucks as we welcome you back to City of Palms Park. Taylor Rohrer comes home, and the fastball is in for a strike. This, the former spring training home of the Boston Red Sox. One of the more luxurious JUCO baseball facilities. That one's down and away for a ball. We're essentially working in a major league press box today. Of course, tons of seating. This place holds thousands. The 1-1. On the outside corner, a changeup for strike 2. And a lot of spring training games going on as we speak around the state of Florida. The 1-2 is rolled towards the middle. Good stop by Cassos. The throw to first is bounced, but dug out beautifully by Airy. 6-3 on the putout to erase Milan.
The first baseman, Tyler Solomon.
Phillies introduced Bryce Harper today, right behind home plate in Clearwater. The Phillies are in Port Charlotte today to play the Rays, and they lead Tampa Bay 4-3 in the 5th. Of course, Harper is not there. He just had his press conference. That one's low for a ball. But Andrew McCutchen has 2 hits for the Phillies in Port Charlotte. Zach Eflin, 3 innings. Fastball away for ball 2 against Solomon, who bats with 1 out and nobody on. There's one spring training game here in Fort Myers. It is the Boston Red Sox at home against the Baltimore Orioles. Maybe about 15 minutes east of here. 2-0, swing and a miss, strike 1. Orioles leading 2-0. Got 2 runs against Colton Brewer of the Red Sox. Steve Wilkerson with a 2-run single. That one is low for ball 3, and Baltimore leads. The other team in Fort Myers, the Minnesota Twins, are on the road. They went to the east coast of Florida today, and they trailed the Washington Nationals 4-3 in the 5th. So we are right in the midst of spring training here in southern Florida. This one's popped up behind home, and the catch is made right up against the net. Sanchez makes a cool and collected basket catch to retire Solomon for the second out. That'll bring up Burke with the bases empty. How about Taylor Rohrer? After allowing 5 batters to reach on the first trip through the batting order, Rohrer, I guess you could say, has come roaring back to retire 10 batters in a row. Here is Burke, and he takes one inside for a ball. But these JUCO teams, FSW in particular, can really benefit from spring training, because a lot of the scouts that come here to watch the big league games or even the minor league games on the backfields are in the area, so they can drop by and watch games like this. The 1-0 is cranked out to left field. Mayor coming over. He won't get there. Cuts it off in the corner. Burke's going to try for second, and he will make it. A 2-out double for Mikey Burke. Gets the tying run into scoring position for Florida Southwestern. And Joseph will have a chance to get his team even. Don't see too many scouts here today, just a couple, but with the minor league spring training games not getting going for a few more days, the guys that are down here to scout those minor league players could come here to try and find some amateurs that could play pro ball. Breaking ball low, 1-0. And there are just a lot of baseball coaches and scouts, front office folks down in this vicinity this time of year, and that can only benefit the Bucks. Of course, a lot of these players have big league aspirations. The 1-0. That's in for a strike. And hopefully with at least 1 or 2 days off a week, these Bucks players can go out to a spring training game and watch the big leaguers. With the Red Sox and Twins about 15 minutes away from here. Breaking ball, and Joseph is late, strike 2. And now time called for by Sanchez. Big pitch coming. Rohrer trying to keep this score where it is in the 5th. The lefty comes home, and the fastball is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 74 pitches so far for Rohrer. He went 6 innings in his last outing. He'll have a chance to do that again. Backdoor breaking ball didn't get there, really snapped it off, but it was outside. A full count now on Joseph. 6 innings was the longest outing of the year for Taylor. So he is threatening that today. Big offering here. 3-2 with a tying run in scoring position, 2 outs. And time called for first. Rohrer began the year in the bullpen, has earned his spot now in the rotation. Payoff pitch. Fouled off by Joseph, who picked it out of the mitt to keep the inning going. Bobcats do have some good relievers. Cameron Seward with a 3.38 ERA. Andrew Karch, 2.57. Eric Broughton, 0. He's given up 1 hit in 8 1/3. So there are some good relievers that could pitch in back of Rohrer. This game very much in the balance. The 3-2. The runner goes, and it's outside. The throw is into left field. Burke will get up, and this game is tied. Both teams today scoring crucial runs on throwing errors from the catcher. Give Burke a stolen base, and it's 2-2. That was a lazy throw by Sanchez. And for now, an unearned run against Rohrer with Dobianski digging in. From the stretch, the pitch. Nope, pickoff throw first. In this game, that's now tied. Backdoor curve finds the corner, strike 1. And now time called for by Dobianski. Yesterday in their loss against the State College of Florida, Daniel Nichols was the only reliever who pitched. He went 3 hitless innings, did not give up a run. So he would be the only reliever that couldn't pitch today, and he was not one of those 3 leaders that we mentioned. So it seems as though the Pasco-Hernando bullpen is well equipped to keep their team in the game after Rohrer comes out, because there's no way Rohrer is going to go any more than 6 innings today. About to throw his 80th pitch here in the 5th. And he throws to first. And again, pitchers, of course, could go over 100 pitches, but Rohrer began the year in the bullpen. So He's only gone 6 innings once all season. You don't expect him to go any more than that with the way things are going today, but he's done a really nice job. The 0-1. Fastball up high. Snap throw to first is late. Infield deep for the Bobcats. Joseph is a threat to run. Not the speediest guy on the team, but he has long strides. He has 1 stolen base so far this year. They are paying him quite a bit of attention. Airy holding him on. There he goes. Swing and a miss, and it'll be the 2nd stolen base of the year for Joseph. Second stolen base in the inning for the Bucks. We heard Coach Bezier talk about it in the pregame show. That last time these teams played, FSW picked up 9 stolen bases. Believe they had 7 steals in one of the games yesterday. So they can really run. And they are doing it again today. That's their 3rd steal of the game in this one. Breaking ball chopped towards the hole. Backhanded nicely by Cassos. He plants, throws, and he's safe. Dobianski barely beats it out on an infield single. And the Bucks have 2 men aboard. Good hustle by Dobianski to prolong the inning, and now it's Bennett. That was very close at first, but it did look like Dobianski was safe. Now Bennett, who was hit by a pitch and popped out. A chance to give the Bucks the lead back. And a turn to second first by Rohrer. Changeup low on Bennett, ball 1. This inning started with 2 outs. Milan grounded out. Solomon popped out. But then Burke ripped a double down the left field line, stole third, and scored on a throwing error to make it 2-2. Then Joseph walked, stole second before Dobianski just reached on the infield single. That brings us to first and second, 2 outs, and Sanchez goes to the mound to speak with Rohrer. Lefty brings the hands to the waist, comes home, and Bennett slashes one over short. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Rounding third is Joseph. Mayor throws to the cutoff man, and FSW regains the lead. An RBI single for Thomas Bennett, and it's 3-2 Buccaneers. A clutch 2-out single for Bennett, which would not have been made possible without the hustle of Dobianski that kept the inning going. And now that first run becomes earned because Rohrer has not retired a batter since the throwing error by Sanchez. So now it's 2 runs earned, 1 unearned for now against Rohrer. As Florentino takes one low, it goes through the legs of Sanchez. You could call that either a pass ball or a wild pitch. Usually when it hits the dirt, they'll call it a wild pitch, but that should have very easily been blocked by Sanchez. So second and third and a base hit could give the Bucks a 2-run lead, or excuse me, a 3-run lead. They now lead 3-2 with 2 ducks on the pond. Curveball bent in for a strike. Rohrer getting set to throw his 27th pitch of the inning. It is his hardest working inning of the day. Up to 85 offerings for the game. The 1-1. Curveball smoked foul. Dobianski had to duck as it went flying over his head. Strike 2. Runners take their leads, both with good speed. Florentino behind in the count, 1-2. Seeing Rohrer for the 3rd time today. The pitch is popped up. Right side of the infield. Haydak and Airy come together, and the second baseman, Haydak, makes the catch to retire the side. Rohrer gets out of it. He's through 5, but he gives up the lead. FSW collects 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. We're now through 5 in Fort Myers. FSW back in front, 3-2.
Instagram and Facebook at FSW Box. First baseman, Ryan Irie.
We welcome you back to City of Palms Park. Mason Adams, now pitcher of record on the long side, is back out there, and he deals a fastball away to Ryan Airy for ball 1. 6th inning of this ball game. FSW back in front, 3-2. This one is hit sharply to short. One hopper into Bennett, who handles and throws to first. 1 down.
The DH,
Now Alessi. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for Pasco-Hernando. 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Bucks. Adams now in his 3rd inning, 2nd full inning of relief. Came in with 2 outs in the 4th. Pitch to Alessi is a fastball low, 1-0. By the way, we've investigated that bottom of the 5th. The 1-0 is in for a strike, and it looks as though all of the runs will be earned against Rohrer. The 2 singles after the walk and stolen base make that an earned run. The stolen base that Joseph had was key. This one is popped foul over the left side, strike 2. So it is 3 runs, all earned over 5 against Rohrer, which is still not a bad result against the number 2 team in the state in FSW, especially when you consider the fact that he's a freshman lefty facing a lineup of all right-handed hitters. So he was facing a platoon disadvantage in every single matchup, and he still only gave up 3 runs over 5 against the number 2 team in the state. So all in all, you have to tip your cap to Rohrer today. I'm not sure if he's done, but if he is, a good effort. Breaking ball fouled off as Alessi stays alive. By the way, we mentioned the number 2 team in the state. I don't think we've worded anything like that this year. We've been looking at the national rankings and the records of all the teams in Florida. The Suncoast Conference and Florida Junior College Baseball puts together a poll, a coaches poll, of the top teams in the state. We mentioned there are about 25 teams in the state of Florida. 2-2 is lined over to third. That's going to stay fair, slicing towards the corner. Around first goes Alessi. He's going to try for 2. The throw coming in from Florentino just a bit late. A 4-hopper. Otherwise, they might have gotten Alessi. It's an opposite field double. And right away, Pasco-Hernando showing some fight, putting the tying run in scoring position. It'll bring up Cassos.
Shortstop, Anthony Casas.
Cassos, a couple of well-struck fly balls today. That one's in for a strike. He drove in a run with that sac fly in the 4th. But we mentioned the coaches poll. Each coach gives in his top 10 teams, and they compile the poll just as they would a college basketball poll or anything like that. And right now, the Bucks are number 2, behind only Central Florida, who we mentioned has the best record at 19-1. Bucks have the second best record at 17-3, and they've played a tough schedule. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Gorgeous curve from Mason Adams, strike 2. Seminole State is 3, Northwest Florida State is 4, and Santa Fe is 5. All of those teams are not in the Bucks division. They're all in the Panhandle or Northern Florida. The 0-2 is low. Pretty amazing that Chipola College, who is number 1 in the country to start the year, is not even in the top 10 in the state right now. I would have said that that would be the Bucks' best wins this year, but because they've fallen off so much, you can't really say that anymore. The Bucks also beat Walter State, who is nationally ranked. That one's high for ball 2. But in terms of the coaches poll in the state of Florida, the best win this year for the Bucks was against Santa Fe, who is number 5. They also have a couple of wins against Miami-Dade, who is number 9. And I do not believe the Bucks play any more teams that are in the top 10. But they are number 2. Two-two pitch, hit him. Curveball backed up, got Cassos on the backside, and there are now 2 runners on base. So what do you do now if you're Ben Bezier and Derek Knatzer? Mason Adams is up to 34 pitches in relief after going 2 innings yesterday. You got to think he's running out of gas. But you really only have 1, maybe 2 more relievers available. In an inning like this, in a 1-run game in the 6th, you're going to go with whoever gives you the best chance to finish off this inning with a 0. Here is Mayor, first to spin to second. So that's all you're considering right here. But if you bring in Magavero, you really have to ride him the rest of the way. If you think Adams gives you the best chance, you're going to stick with him and push him here. Swing and a miss. Good tailing fastball from Adams. Mayor has grounded out to first both times today. Sanchez on deck has swung it better, 1 for 2, and he's hit both balls hard. The righty comes set. and fires high with a heater, and the count levels. It's been a good game today. Neither team has led by more than one. I've had 2 lead changes in the last 3 innings. Fastball caught the corner that time, and Adams gets ahead. One-two is upstairs with a fastball. Buccaneers looking for win number 18 here today. They're about 4 weeks ahead of schedule in terms of the win totals from last year. They were right around 500 a year ago. They got their 15th win on St. Patrick's Day, which of course is much later in March. Here on March 2nd, this year they're already up to 18 wins. The 2-2. Chopped off the plate. That's foul on the third base side. The pitch. Rolled out to second, very weakly. Marcano quickly charging in, and he makes a good play. Now the throw to third, not in time. Solomon showing off the arm. Hit too softly to turn 2. It's a 4-3 put out as the runners advance to second and third.
Catcher, Jose Sanchez.
40 pitches now for Adams, and the batter will be Sanchez. Again, Sanchez has hit both balls hard today. A single in the third and a well-struck fly ball out to deep center in the 5th. Second time he's faced Adams. So a huge spot here. A base hit could give Pasco-Hernando the lead right back. And the curveball spins low for ball 1. So at this point, you have to assume Adams will not be able to pitch in the conference opener on Monday. And he is one of the best relievers on the Bucks. So that is a bit of a unfortunate situation. Fastball rolled towards the middle. Bennett can't get there. He bobbles now. He recovers and he makes the play. Thomas Bennett with an outstanding play at shortstop to save the lead for the Bucks. Had it clank off the heel. He juggled it behind the bag and made a spinning throw just in time to get the catcher Sanchez. 6-3 on the play. Keeps the lead at 3-2 for FSW as we move on to the bottom of the 6th after this. John Vitas bringing you back live to City of Palms Park as the bottom third of Ben Beasier's batting order comes to the plate. Up by 1 in the 6th. Josh McAllister leads it off against a new pitcher. Fastball in for a strike from Eric Broughton. Braughton. The righty comes home, and this one is tomahawked fouling out of play, 1-1. Broughton is 6'4", 215 pounds, from Trafalgar, Indiana. He has been sensational this season. He is a sophomore, and he strikes out McAllister. Broughton has a perfect ERA of 0.
Second baseman, Jose
He's
Marcano.
allowed just 1 hit in 8 1/3. He has walked 6, but he has struck out 10. McAllister the 11th, and the batter will be Marcano with 1 out and nobody on, and Coach Beasier calling him over first. Coach Beasier coaching first base today with assistant Chad Boone at third. We've seen the coaches mix it up a little bit this year. So Broughton has been the best pitcher this season for Pasco-Hernando. You have a stoppage first. Coach Beasier discussing things with Marcano here. And then Milan will be next, but we've actually just seen a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle. Ralph Morla has moved into that on-deck circle, which is an interesting move. Morla probably gives you a little more offense than Milan, at least in terms of the small sample size numbers this year. But we're told that Shamir Morales, the starting catcher, is sick today and not able to play. This one is hit well out to deep left center field. Outfielders coming together, and it lands in between them. Marcano heading for second, and he will make it. Takes a turn with a double. White almost made another outstanding running catch. The ball went right over his glove as he called off Mayor, who also had a chance at that ball. So Marcano has a double. He's 2 for 3. And a run of insurance is in scoring position with Morla coming up.
Number 7, Ralph Morla.
So Morla pinch hits. Milan, who gave up that costly error earlier, is out. So we mentioned Morales is sick. Kinch is battling an arm problem. He is out. Bagneski, arm problem. He is out. So usually if you don't include a couple of the two-way guys that are more pitchers, which would be Davis and Madej, the Bucks normally operate with a 5-man bench. Today they are operating with a 2-man bench. And so they're using Morla here, which means they now have 1 guy left on the bench, which is Warner Rincones. He is versatile, so that helps. But other than Rincones, the only guys who could hit or maybe play a little bit in the field would be Madej and Davis. And Davis pitched yesterday. Madej pitched on Wednesday. Now time called for, but Coach Beasier does not want to lose this game against the Division II team, which with a losing record. Again, he told us before the game, we are not overlooking this team. He knows Pasco-Hernando is a really solid program, and they are showing that here today. They've been blow for blow right there with the Buccaneers. So they will make a move here and bring in Morla to pinch hit. Brought in out of the stretch, and the fastball is spiked for a ball. So Rohrer gives up 3 runs over 5, a total of 5 hits. He struck out 2 and walked 3, 87 pitches over 5. Curveball in the dirt, good stop by the catcher, Sanchez. Pasco-Hernando, by the way, went 36-18 last year. Broughton is a sophomore, but he was not on the team last year. A lot of turnover. Only a few names that were here last year for Pasco-Hernando are still on the team. That one's low. Ball 2. And that's a very similar thing for FSW. I think they only have 6, maybe 7 returners from last year's team. And that, of course, is because both of these squads are operating with first-year head coaches. So they have brought in their guys and improved these two rosters. Morla's well ahead 3-0. And he takes one low for ball 4, and it goes through the catcher. Marcano heads to third on the wild pitch. And now the Buccaneers have men at the corners with only one out. So a golden opportunity for FSW to add on. With the leadoff man Solomon coming up, he'll bat left-handed for the first time. So this goes from a lineup of 9 righties to a lineup of 6 righties and 3 lefties because the Bucks have 3 switch hitters in there. Morla reaches, and now Solomon will try and extend the lead. That one gets away. Spiked in the dirt, and the Bucks will add on a run. Marcano scores on another wild pitch. And it's 4-2, Florida Southwestern. Morla goes to second on a ball that went 55 feet from Broughton. So a 2-run lead. Morla into scoring position, still 1 out. And the batter is still Solomon. And now we'll have a visit to the mound. We mentioned the success that Pasco-Hernando had last year. 6 of their top 10 hitters batted .320 or better. So the offense has taken a major step back. They drew a ton of walks. 344 walks as a team last year. So they took a page out of FSW's book this year. And, of course, the goal for all these players is to get back to Division I schools after their time is done at the JUCOs, and a lot of their players did that. Caleb Walls, who hit .385 last year with more walks than strikeouts and 16 stolen bases, he went on to play D1 ball at the University of Maryland. So some of these Pasco-Hernando hitters going to big-time D1 programs. And a lot of those guys will step in as juniors and play right away, which is the case for Walls. Ryan Russell hit .384, 6 triples for him. And some of those guys are back, those 320-plus hitters. They haven't hit quite as well this year. Braden Lyman, who has hit over 300 this year, hit .336 last year. He's the second baseman. And Nick Alessi, who is DHing today, hit .326 last year. 10 extra base hits, 32 walks in 43 games. So Pasco-Hernando is going to get some wins this year, no doubt about it. Currently at 8-10. So the meeting is over. Broughton ready to go. The 1-0. Spiked in the dirt again, ball 2. That one is downstairs, ball 3. That one's low for a ball. Solomon tosses the bat. It's another wild pitch. Just like ball 4 to Morla, ball 4 to Solomon, also a wild pitch. So Morla goes to third, and there's still just one out. Runners at the corners again with Mikey Burke coming up. So again, Broughton, who has been their best reliever all year, is really struggling here in the 6th. He's given up a run, and there could be more coming. With Burke at the dish, who doubled his last time up, and that's going to be it for Broughton. Second visit, he's got to come out. And their best reliever has hit a snag. Buccaneers leading 4-2. They'll try and add on when we come back. You're watching junior college baseball. We bring you back to the bottom of the 6th at City of Palms Park. Pleasure to have you along. Buccaneers looking to get to 18-3. Mikey Burke bats with a 4-2 lead with men at the corners and one out. And Joey Delgado into pitch. Might sound like it's D-E-L-G-A-D-O, but it's not. It's D-E-L capital G-A-T-T-O. Delgado. And Burke calls for time as something flew in his eye there. The bugs are not as big of a problem this time of year in Florida. They can be lethal in the summer, but we're not there yet. Burke takes high for a ball. Buccaneers have a chance to really put a stranglehold on this game. Got to think they'll go to a new pitcher in the 7th, but Adams has been good. Curveball spins in for a strike, 1-1. So Broughton charged with 1 run on 1 hit, 1 strikeout, 2 walks in a third of an inning. He's on the hook for 2 more runs if Morla and Solomon score. Curveball in for a strike, 1-2. It's So Delgado showing he can spin it. Would love to get a strikeout here. A pop out or a grounder up the middle could help as well. Of course, the Bobcats at double play depth trying to get out of this bottom of the 6th. Breaking ball low. Trail runner trying to get through. The catcher slips. He would have had a chance to throw out Morla had he kept his footing. But Sanchez went down as Solomon takes second on the wild pitch. And now the Bobcats will have to bring the infield in. Second and third, one out. Embarrassing moment for Sanchez, who faked the throw to second, and it was one heck of a fake. And it worked. Morla was a good 3 steps off third. And again, Sanchez could have thrown him out had he kept his footing, but he was on his stomach and had no chance. So it works out for FSW. A base hit could give them a 4-run lead. Can they put this game away? The 2-2. Hit him. Curveball backed up, got Burke in the numbers, and the bases are loaded. So it's all left to Tommy Joseph here in the 6th. Bases loaded, 1 out. Bucks with 1 run across already in the inning. Fastball outside, 1-0. The pitch. Rolled towards the middle. Will the shortstop get there? Yes, he fields. The flip to second, return throw to first, and Joseph beats it out. Great play by Cassos, who saved a run, almost saved 2, but Joseph has enough speed to beat it out. It's an RBI fielder's choice, and the Bucks extend their lead to 5-2. Morla scores. What a play by Cassos, who had to go a long way for that and laid out, made a great flip to Haydak, who made an accurate turn. But Joseph beats it out. Give Tommy an RBI. Score is 5-2 with Dobianski at the plate. And a throw over by Delgado. So still men at the corners, but now with 2 outs. And 2 runs charged to Broughton. Fastball well high to Drake, 1-0. That one is low. Delayed steal from Joseph. They do throw. Joseph gets in a run down. The throw to the plate. Got him. Solomon elected not to slide. Otherwise, he might have had a chance to get under the tag. It's a 2-4-2 put out, and the inning is over. First and third play goes the way of the Bobcats. But the Bucks get 2 more runs on 1 hit, and they strand a runner. We'll head to the 7th. It's now Buccaneers 5 and the Bobcats 2. John Vitas welcoming you back to City of Palms Park as we begin the 7th. Jermaine White leads it off with the Bobcats now down 3. Nate Madej is the new pitcher, and White fouls it off, strike 1. 5th outing of the year for Madej, who has pitched well. Just 2 runs allowed on 6 hits in 8 2/3. This one's chopped up the third baseline foul for a strike. That's an ERA of 2.08. He has had some problems with walks, but he's pitched out of trouble. He's done a good job in long relief, averaging more than 2 innings per outing. That one's up high for a ball. Madej pitched in the win on Wednesday, so pitching on 2 days of rest today. Did go multiple innings in the win over Miami-Dade, the 1-2. Chopped foul again by White with Haydak and Lyman to follow. Mason Adams did a great job. He could get the win today. 2 1/3 scoreless innings. Surprisingly, with his stuff, did not strike out anybody. 1 walk, 1 hit, 42 pitches, and his ERA goes down from 4.38 to 3.68. So down half a point into the 3s. The 1-2 to White is sliced foul into the seats. Madej delivers. Slider just missed outside, 2-2. Well high off the mid of the new catcher, Ralph Morla, 3-2. So Morla stays in after pinch hitting. He's behind the plate. And that one's in for strike 3. White is frozen. Madej strikes out the first man he sees. That will bring up the leadoff man, Haydak, who has had a good day. A walk, a single, and a line drive that was caught by McAllister. He's also played a good second base. The pitch is high, ball 1. They appeal, and they did say he swung. Interesting. Vinny Harstad on the call. Madej is ahead. Fastball tails outside for a ball. The lefty comes home, and it's up and away, ball 2. Warm day here in Southwest Florida. Change up in for a strike. We apologize to you up north, experiencing some white weather today and colder temperatures, but here in Florida, it's 85 degrees. This one's fouled off over the right side. That is the high today. And we got a little bit of humidity, not too bad, but a lot of sunshine. It feels like 87 out there. We do have a pretty good breeze today blowing out to right center. The 2-2. Line to first. That's a fair ball inside the line. Burke over to cut it off as Haydak takes a turn and holds on. Good throw by Burke. It's an opposite field 1-out single for Michael Haydak. So he's having a nice day. And Lyman will be the batter. He also has a base hit today. Both teams now boasting 6 hits. Left on left, curveball low to Lyman. Midday delivers. Fastball tails downstairs, ball 2. Let's take a look at some of the college baseball scores today. We like to give you some of the scores of the teams that are relevant to the FSW players and us here in Southwest Florida. Fastball is in for a strike. FGCU, the local team here in Fort Myers, is in action right now. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They're 7-2 overall. The 2-1 is rolled towards the right side. Marcano able to slide, and it goes under his glove. Lyman will get a single, and it's back-to-back base hits against Midday. Now Berry. The Eagles are taking it to some Northeastern opponents. Last weekend, they outscored LIU Brooklyn 29-2 in a 3-game sweep. This weekend, they've beaten Siena from Albany 8-0 and 17-6. Different story, though, today. It's 1-1 in the 8th down the road at Florida Gulf Coast. 1-1, Eagles and Siena Saints. Fastball in for a strike. Chicago State, which is where Connor Bagneski will play next year, they have a doubleheader against Mount St. Mary's just up the road from here in Punta Gorda. The Snowbird Classic, 0-1, is low for a ball. A lot of teams come down here to Florida to play their early season games. Chicago State visiting Mount St. Mary's. Four o'clock, they start their doubleheader today. Off-speed pitch low. They appeal and say no swing. 2-1 on Berry. Western Kentucky, which is where Ryan Gusto will go next year if he doesn't sign a professional contract. They're 6-4, playing in a very tough tournament this weekend. They visit Tennessee tonight at 6:30. They lost yesterday as Midday looks at second. Meanwhile, Tennessee's basketball team, the number 7 team in the country, beating Kentucky right now 45-27. So a statement for the Volunteers. 2-1 is on the corner, strike 2. Florida Atlantic will host Monmouth at 4 o'clock today. That one is inside for a ball. Some of the schools that these players went to last year, Tyler Solomon's Vanderbilt Commodores are the number 1 team in the country. They have a doubleheader with Dayton today, and in game 1, they lead the Flyers 1-0 in the 5th. That one goes off the glove of Marcano, but Bennett over to help out, and Haydock stays put at second. Nate Kinch's Coastal Carolina Chanticleers are number 20 in the country, and they play host to UConn today at 5. This one is cranked out to deep left field, out of the stadium and foul, as Berry maintains a full count. And then last but not least, Thomas Bennett's former team, Kentucky, hosts Canisius at 4:30. Midday's 3-2. The runner goes. It's in for a strike. Morla's throw is wide of the bag, but this time McAllister is able to make a diving catch to keep the score at 5-2. So give Madej his second strikeout. Barry is caught looking, but Haydak steals third.
Ryan Irie.
And you could see some coaching across the diamond. They wanted Lyman to take second on the back end. That's why they wanted to do the double steal, to keep themselves out of a double play. Doesn't matter now, there's 2 outs, but they would have loved to have gotten Lyman into scoring position to be able to score 2 on a single. So men at the corners, 2 outs, still 5-2, and the batter is Ryan Airy, the first baseman. And he watches a fastball on the outside black for strike 1. Well, we do have one more college baseball score. We're trying to remember who that last player was committed to. Mitch Myers is going to Pitt next year. And they have a doubleheader today against 2 different teams. They're playing up in Kissimmee for a tournament, and they mercy ruled in 8 innings the St. Peter's College Peacocks 17-7. Pitt also will host Butler tonight at 6:30. St. Peter's currently in a rain delay. They're set to take on Hofstra this afternoon. That one's down and away, ball 1. So the Panthers beat the Peacocks. Breaking ball rolled towards the hole. That's going to sneak through for a base hit. 1 run is in. Lyman goes first to third. Great piece of hitting on the breaking ball low by Airy. Ryan Airy with an RBI single makes it 5-3.
The DH, Nicholas Alessi.
That ball was not hit hard, but well placed. And on a ball that almost hit the ground, Airy picks up an RBI single. Now it's Alessi with men at the corners. First pitch fastball catches the inside corner on the Bobcats' designated hitter, who is 1 for 3. He doubled his last time up. For a team that apparently was starved for hitting, Pasco-Hernando has not had a tough time at the plate today. They have 8 hits in this game, as that fastball tails downstairs to even the count 1-1. If Madej does not retire Alessi on this pitch, he will throw 30 pitches in this inning. The offering is lifted over third. McAllister will run out of room. It's into the seats, strike 2. So Madej will throw 30 pitches in this frame. He has given away 1 of the runs that FSW picked up in the 6th. So back to a 2-run game, 5-3 Bucks. Fastball outside, ball 2 on Alessi. Midday deals. This one's chopped to the right side. Solomon gets there this time, and he'll touch the bag to end the inning. Midday able to limit the damage. He does give up 1 run on 3 singles. It's time to stretch in Fort Myers. It's FSW 5 and Pasco-Hernando 3.
Time for the 7th inning stretch. So you need to get up on your feet and join the great.
We welcome you back to City of Palms Park as we begin the bottom of the 7th. Drake Dobianski leads it off against Joey Delgado. And for the second time today, the leadoff man is plunked on the first pitch. It happened to Thomas Bennett in the 2nd. Now it happens to Dobianski in the 7th. So the leadoff man is on with FSW up by 2. And Bennett will come to the plate. Thomas has had a great game. A clutch 2-out RBI single in the 5th. He also was hit by that pitch we mentioned, so on base twice. And he made a great play on a grounder up the middle on defense to save 1, if not 2 runs. Breaking ball in for a strike. So Brian is charged with 2 runs in 1/3 of an inning for Pasco-Hernando. Those are the first runs he's given up all year. And now it's Delgado's turn to try and keep this score where it is. Fastball's a strike. Sanchez wanted to throw out Dobianski, but couldn't get the grip. 0-2. Taylor Rohrer started the game for Pasco-Hernando. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. This one's fouled back on a breaking ball to Bennett. 2 strikeouts, 3 walks for Rohrer. Gave up most of that damage in the Bucks' 2-run 5th, which is when Bennett got his RBI. The right-hander is set. He delivers. And Bennett flies it foul down the right field line. 3 players chasing after it, and it lands foul. Haydak couldn't get there as the wind kept pushing it towards that right field corner. So Bennett gets another opportunity. The transfer from Kentucky. Officially a redshirt freshman. Throw over to first, and Dobianski is back in. Righty comes home. Runner goes, pitches outside, throw is on the money, and they got him. Dobianski caught stealing on a good throw by Sanchez. First caught stealing of the day. The Bucks have 4 stolen bases. Breaking ball runs low on Bennett. First ball to his credit. The righty delivers. Breaking ball just missed upstairs. Letter high on Bennett. Fastball down and away. What an at-bat by Thomas. Works out the walk, and the Buccaneers have another base runner. So now Florentino, who's 1 for 3, singled and scored in the second. Came up in an RBI spot in the 5th, but popped out. Runner bluffed the go. Florentino takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Throw over by Delgado. Righty comes home. There goes the runner. Swing and a miss, and Sanchez cannot make the transfer. So the 5th stolen base of the day for the Buccaneers. That one goes to Thomas Bennett. Look at Bennett, the pitch. Breaking ball smoked out to deep left field. Mayor going to the corner, and he runs it down. Mayor able to cut down that well-struck liner by Florentino, taking away what would have been probably an RBI double.
Third baseman Josh McAllister.
So 2 outs, and the batter is McAllister. Oh for 3, lined out to Mayor in the 4th. First pitch, line to right field. Lyman coming in and towards the line, and he makes the catch. A lot of loud contact for the Bucks today, but just 5 runs to show for it. 1 man left, no hits in the 7th. We'll move on to the 8th inning here at City of Palms Park. Buccaneers up by 2. 6, 7, and 8 coming up for the Bobcats as we begin the 8th inning. Derek Rasher is the new pitcher. We are seeing a few different arms we didn't expect to today, as the Bucks try and save some pitchers for Monday, their first conference game of the year. That one's low on Cassos, 1-1. Rasher did not pitch for the first couple of weeks of the season, and now all of a sudden is one of the more trusted arms on the team, as he has pitched very well. This one's fisted, fouling out of play, strike 2. Has not allowed a run in 5 2/3. He started the perfect game against the Elevate Academy yesterday. He went 2 perfect innings and is back out there today. Slider rolled over to shortstop. Easy play. Maybe not. It goes right under the legs of Bennett in E6. Cassos reaches to start the 8th. So Bennett, who has played a good game, coughs one up. And that could be huge if Pasco-Hernando can put together some sort of a rally in the 8th. That was as routine as they come. Bennett charged, set himself up, and it went right underneath the glove. So Mayor will come to the plate. 3 ground ball outs for him. Bucks would gladly take one right now. And the first pitch is pumped in for a strike. So Madej gives up 1 run on 3 singles in 1 inning. 2 strikeouts, no walks. Rasher makes his 4th appearance of the year. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk in 5 2/3. Six outs left to get for the Bucks to get to 18-3 before they open up that conference schedule. Unless something's wrong with Mugavero, the Bucks are saving him for Monday to pitch in relief after Gusto makes the start. Again, if you missed it earlier, Bucks aligning their rotation for their first conference series of the year. Gusto will pitch Monday on the road. Santos will pitch Wednesday here at home. There's a bunt third base side that'll kick foul. And then Ferreira, who started the game today, will pitch on Friday on the road. All of those games against the College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota. So the Bucks today have used 2 pitchers that threw yesterday. Adams for 2 1/3. And then now Rasher, who went 2 yesterday. That one's low. And Madej, who pitched the 7th, went multiple innings on Wednesday. So this is a staff that's being squeezed a little bit right now, with Mugavero either unavailable or still waiting. And really nobody else as an option. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Breaking ball from Rasher gets Mayor to chase, and there's 1 down. Big out, now it's Sanchez.
The catcher, Josue Sanchez.
With runners at 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs in the 6th, Sanchez rolled one up the middle for what could have been a 2-run single, but Thomas Bennett made a lunging stop and a good throw to first to get him and save the Bucks 2 runs. That's their margin of lead right now as Rasher steps off. Cassos had started dancing off of first with his lead, and Rasher was able to coolly step off. Another throw over. And now time called for by Sanchez. So Madej sees his ERA go up slightly. From 208 to 279. This one is jammed over the right side. Marcano angling out, and he will make the catch on the pop-up for the 2nd out. So 1 more to get for Rasher. who has gotten Mayor and Sanchez on consecutive pitches, and it's left to Jermaine White. Well, even if the Bobcats are not able to score here, they would have the top of the order due up in the 9th, and that's the part of the order that's done the majority of the damage today. This one is sliced foul and out of play. Throw over, and back in diving is Cassos. And now he throws to first, but it's a stolen base. Boy, Cassos was determined to embarrass Rasher in that sequence. Kept dancing around. That time he took off for second. Rasher wasn't looking at him, and then when he heard his teammates scream to alert him, he threw to first rather than stepping off and seeing what was going on. So it'll be a stolen base, uncontested for Cassos, who is now in scoring position, and a base hit can make it a one-run game. The 0-1 is outside, and that is something that teams, and Rasher has been great this year on the mound, no question about it, but if he's going to assume a larger role and pitch in high-leverage situations, which this would qualify, you have to hold on runners effectively. And if Pasco-Hernando gets anybody on base in the 9th, you can bet they're going to try and distract him as much as they can. That one's high for ball 2 because they've already done it here in the 8th. Rasher, 6'2", 180 pounds, from nearby Naples, Florida. That one's outside. A changeup, 3-1 on White. You don't want to put the tying run on base with Haydak on deck, who's been on base 3 times. White is 0 for 3. The next guy has been on base 3 out of 4 times, so it's obvious who you'd rather face, the 9-hitter or the 1-hitter. And this one is golfed foul. Florentino over for a look, but it's in the seats, and Rasher has gotten the count full. Big pitch coming from the right-hander, and the Naples native steps off. The 3-2, fouled back. Fastball center cut. White put a good swing on it, but sliced it to the netting. Shadows creeping across home plate. Could make things a little tougher on the hitters as we finish up today. We're in the top of the 8th in a 2-run game. Rasher spins. They've got the runner picked off. Can he get himself out of this pickle? McAllister turns on the Jets and tags him out. Rasher wins the battle that time with the runner as Cassos runs his team out of an inning. The pickoff ends it. Rasher puts up a 0 in the 8th. We'll head to the bottom of the inning after this. Still 5-3 Buccaneers. Can the Bucks hold on? They lead it 5-3 as we begin the bottom of the 8th. Last chance to add some runs. Facing Joey Delgado, who comes back out for his third inning of relief. Jose Marcano leads it off, the first of 3 Bucks due up in the inning. And he watches a fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. Morla due up next, then the leadoff man Tyler Solomon. Out of the line comes Delgado, and the fastball is in the same spot as he gets ahead 0-2. 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for Pasco-Hernando. 5 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for the Buccaneers. They have been out hit, but they lead it. That's happened plenty of times this year as Marcano was late on the fastball. 3 straight fastballs from Delgado, and he gets himself a quick strikeout. His second of the afternoon, or check it, his first of the afternoon. Now Morla, who walked and scored in the 6th in his only plate appearance. Started the first game of the doubleheader yesterday. Buccaneers playing this weekend without their starting catcher. That one is down and away for a ball. We mentioned earlier, Shamir Morales is ill this weekend. They hope to have him back Monday. The 1-0 pitch is on the outside corner, 1-1. Right now, because of injuries and illnesses and 1 sub used today, the Bucks only have 1 true bench player available right now. That is Warner Rincones. So not many options for Coach Bezier to use in this close game as that one skips in for ball 2. And as always, you can stick around after the end of the game. We'll have our live interview with Coach Bezier, as always, a few minutes after the ball game today. Two-1 is in for a strike, 2-2. As now Morla steps out. Sophomore catcher for FSW. Awaiting the pitch from Delgado. It comes. And it's just a bit low, full count. Well, we've eclipsed the 3-hour mark here today. With 5 more outs left to go to try and finish it off. The payoff. Check swing. Did he go around? No. Ball 4. Morla able to hold up on the curveball in the dirt. And FSW has a 1-out base runner.
Tyler Solomon.
So Solomon comes up 0 for 3 with a walk. First ball he hit today went close to the wall in center field. Tracked down by White, who has had a good day out there. He is very deep, as are all the outfielders, against Solomon, who packs a punch at the plate. And he cranks this one out to deep right field. Lyman going back, and it's off the top of the fence, caroming towards the gap. Heading for third is Morla. They are going to hold him up there as Haydak fields the relay, and now Solomon is tagged out at second. Bad base running by Solomon, who got too overeager around second base. And for the second time today, he is tagged out. So give him credit for a double, but now the Buccaneers could be held off the scoreboard here. That ball was 3/4 of the way up the fence in deep right. That ball was crushed. And Burke will be the batter with a man at third base and 2 outs. Breaking ball finds the zone 0-1. Burke 1 for 3 with a double and a hit by pitch. fouled off on another curve. Curveball hit him, got him on the thigh, and for the second time today, Mikey Burke is hit. So that'll move runners to the corners, with Joseph coming up in an RBI spot yet again. Drove in a run with a fielder's choices last time up, 0 for 2 with 2 walks, 2 stolen bases, and a run scored. Right-hander comes forward, and the first pitch is pumped in, a strike down the middle to Joseph, who, like Solomon, is batting left-handed for the second time today. Morla, the insurance run, 90 feet away. FSW trying to extend that advantage going into the final inning. 0-1 pitch. Into the seats, might have hit a fan. That's a strike, 0-2. That went just wide of where the netting ends, so tough line drive for a fan who is in some pain but looks to be okay overall. This one's fouled back, similar spot right over them as Joseph stays alive. This is a big league facility, so the seats are close here and not all protected. Throw over and sliding feet first is Burke. The Bucks have tried a couple first and third plays today. One worked, one didn't. They ran themselves out of an inning in the 6th. On a first and third play. Let's see if they do anything with Burke at first, who takes a big lead. Now he is picked off. He's going to try and get in a run down to score the run, and the tag is made. For the second time today, a first and third play goes awry, and the Bucks are held off the board. So they'll have to manage this win with a 2-run lead. We'll go to the 9th inning here at City of Palms Park. FSW trying to close out the non-conference slate with a win against Pasco-Hernando after this. to the 9th inning. Last chance for Pasco-Hernando, and a beautiful bunt on the first play. McAllister fields, hurries the throw, and it's not in time. Jermaine White leads off with a bunt single and a perfect one to give the Bobcats some hope in the 9th. They're down 2. Rasher looking for the save. And now it gets tough because the best 3 hitters are coming up. Here is Haydak, who is 2 for 3 with a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored. We told you last year that Haydak and Berry hit over 300 for Pasco-Hernando last year. And Lyman, who's on deck, hit 336. And Alessi in the 5-hole hit 500. So this was a team that was much better offensively last year. A couple of those guys are having good years this year. But now Rasher really has to gut this one out. He has been entrusted with this 2-run lead. He worked a scoreless 8th. But now he's got to work the 9th out of the stretch with the speedy White taking his lead. Breaking ball sweeps away for a ball. Nobody should be concerned with White. Solomon is holding him on. But they are more concerned with the batter, Haydak, who is the tying run. Fastball fouled back 1-1. That one is poured in. A good pitch from Rasher to get ahead 1-2. Spin and a throw, and back in head first is White. Of course, White has to be very careful on the base paths. He is very valuable, but he can't tie the game up, so he's going to play it conservative even though he has a lot of speed. The pitch, breaking ball froze him. Gorgeous pitch from Rasher, who twists one in to freeze Haydak. One away. So 1 out, and now it's Lyman. That is a big out, number 1. Now a ground ball could end the game. Pasco-Hernando does have a game tomorrow before they start their conference schedule. This one's fouled back, strike 1. They'll play the University of Tampa Bay at noon tomorrow. And then their first conference series against Kalamazoo Valley on Tuesday. They'll play Tuesday, Thursday at home against Kalamazoo Valley. Spin and a throw, and back in head first is White. We've talked plenty about the Bucks' upcoming week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, against the State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota. Again, the team that's expected to give the Bucks the most competition for the division title. Grounder to first. Solomon goes to second. Bennett's return throw, and they got him. Buccaneers win. 3-6-3 on the double play, and Rasher gets the save. He nails it down, and the Bucks win 5-3. Good job by Solomon, who has not played hardly any first base this year, but he turns it beautifully. Bennett, with that one exception on the E6, which didn't hurt the team, had a terrific game today. Was involved in the 2 most important defensive plays, saving 2 runs in the 6th and ending the game in the 9th. Bennett also had an RBI single in the 5th, finishing 1 for 2 with a walk and a hit by pitch. The winning pitcher will likely be Mason Adams, who went 2 1/3 scoreless in the middle stages of this game to stabilize things for the Buccaneers. The loss will go to the starter for Pasco-Hernando, Taylor Rohrer. And if you're looking for a pitching star aside from Adams, it would be the starter, Jesse Ferreira, who turned in 3 scoreless innings, giving up 3 hits, no walks. And he will be the Game 3 starter against the State College of Florida on Friday. Game completed in 3 hours and 15 minutes as the Bucs improved to 18-3. We will certainly ask Coach Bezier, who's coming up in just a moment, about Derek Rasher, who got the save and looked fantastic after 2 good innings yesterday as well. He really had to squeeze the bullpen today with Adams as they set the pitching staff for the future. It looks like the top 3 starters will be Gusto, Santos, and Ferreira. We'll see plenty of Myers, Joseph, Adams, both Adams out of and Davis out of the bullpen. We'll see what the offense can give their team as they take on the State College of Florida over the next 3 days. We'll be able to broadcast the next 2 home games here at City of Palms Park as the Bucs play at home. Their next home game and our next broadcast will be Wednesday at 6 o'clock as the Bucs host the State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota. 6 o'clock conference game, our first conference broadcast on Wednesday, and then on Saturday, back to the non-conference schedule as the Bucs host the South Florida State College at 1 o'clock. So we have a night game, 6 p.m. Wednesday, and another Saturday day game at 1 o'clock next week. Then another Wednesday, Saturday combo the following week. So get in to your routine. You'll see us Wednesday, Saturday, each of the next 2 weeks. Wednesday at 6, Saturday at 1 the next 2 weeks here as the Bucs start their conference schedule. Once again, your final score today, 5-3. Buccaneers were out hit 9-6. They also committed 3 errors, but they performed when it mattered most with a couple of clutch hits, took advantage of a couple of miscues, and the pitching was good enough as the combination of Ferreira, Joseph, Adams, Madej, and Rasher get it done. 3 scoreless from Ferreira, 2 1/3 scoreless from Adams, and 2 scoreless from Rasher, able to limit the Bobcats to 3 runs on 9 hits. Coach Bezier again is on his way up here at City of Palms Park. We mentioned their first non-conference opponent coming up this week. After that, they'll play South Florida State College for 3, and then 3 against St. Petersburg, 3 against Hillsborough, and 3 against Polk State before they repeat the schedule in the month of April. The only non-conference game left is Miami-Dade, which will be on April the 3rd. So it's pretty much all conference games left. And again, those are the only ones that technically matter to the postseason. Coach Bezier coming into the broadcast booth. Final non-conference game before you get into the conference schedule. You get yourself to 18-3 today. That was a tighter game than you had the first 2 times against Pasco-Hernando. You had to squeeze the bullpen a little bit. A couple guys pitching on back-to-back days, but you pulled it out. What do you think of your team's performance today?
It was good. We were a little banged up, without Kinch, without Bagniski, without Morales. Those are 3, big pieces for us. but one of the strengths for us all year has been that we have a lot of depth and that we have a bunch of different guys that can step in and give you good at-bats. And I think that you saw that today. Diego and Morla haven't been getting a whole bunch of time. They've been playing, but they haven't been getting a whole bunch of time. And they both stepped in and had some really good at-bats today. And Marcano had been kind of scuffling a little bit. He had a nice little day today. Bennett, I hit him in the 5-hole. I'm sure he was shocked when he saw his name in the 5-hole. But he had good at-bats. That's why I put him there, because he's just, he's been having really good at-bats. So it's the one thing about this team that if you have been watching, it has been we don't really have a best player, we have a best player like that week or best player, that 10 days. And it's hasn't been, I don't think it's been the same guy yet. And then we, the complementary pieces that we have, have been pretty good. So yeah, I think it's a nice win. And the only thing that disappointed me today was there was some things that happened today that we know a lot better than. We just made some silly mistakes where we had an opportunity to open the game up a little bit, and we didn't execute things that we 95% of the time to this point in the season have executed, and taken advantage of the other team's mistakes and really, throwing the first punch, like I said in the pregame. So we kind of, I don't want to say we were tentative, but we just didn't execute things that we know damn well we need to execute.
Well, one guy who came in and really held it down for you at the end was Derek Rasher, who pitched yesterday to start the ball game in the second game of the doubleheader, comes in to finish the ball game today, and he went 2 scoreless innings, got the double play there at the end to lock it down. He's someone who you didn't use the first couple weeks of the season, but he seems to be stepping into a larger and larger role now as he has success. Yeah,
we've always known he's a good pitcher. It's with Rasher, it's always been just the consistency of his work. That's really all it's ever been. And we like giving him opportunities. That's the thing. It's just when you have so many sophomores on the team that are pitching well, it's always tough, to pick and choose who you're going to give it to. And also, when you look at our pitching staff, we have a lot of guys that match up well with certain guys. And so Rasher, I think we said in the 3rd or 4th inning today, hey, Rasher's a good matchup against this team, because this is the 3rd time we've seen him. He didn't pitch against him neither one of the other times, I don't think, but we the game started to get underway, and we both said to each other, like, Rasher, we both said that to each other, and then the spot came for him where, he ran into the string of guys that we liked him against, and it ended up just, he had, put himself in a little bit of a bind, but he got out of it. And his important part, he executed that pick to second base. When he missed the pick to first base, kind of put himself in a jam and then took himself right out of it. So, if we can just prevent ourselves from, getting in that spot in the first place. But it was nice to see from Rasher. We love it when he comes out there. We love it when all the guys come out there when they get an opportunity. It's tough when you have 12 good pitchers.
And now you get set for your conference schedule. You got 3 games this week against the State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota. They have the best record, or they're the only team in your division that has a winning record aside from your team. So potentially the biggest competition you'll see for a division title this year. 3 games against them. You have your rotation set up, but you are a little bit banged up going into the series. What you've seen them before. What's their style of play, and what do you think is critical in conference play as opposed to maybe playing a variety of opponents in non-conference play?
Yeah, the most important thing in conference play is making sure that you're tracking tendencies and taking advantage of openings and opportunities that the other team is giving you. So with Manatee, they've always been a very good pitching team. They've always commanded the off speed. They've always been extremely competitive in both circles. They've got a very good catcher. We know he loves throwing the ball all over the place. We know that they don't mind getting to 2 strikes offensively. They have disciplined approaches. They're extremely competitive in the box. They're athletic defensively. They don't typically shoot themselves in the foot. And they're always just strong up the middle. That's always been Manatee's key to success is really strong up the middle and really strong in the middle of the lineup. And they always have depth. Their lineup always has depth. So, but again, for us, it's not necessarily like we're looking at Manatee like our competition. We don't look at Manatee like our competition for the championship. We look at every team we play that day. That's our competition for the conference championship, and we want to win the conference championship, and we have aspirations to do that, but we are going to look. Monday is the same as a week from Monday, as the same as a week from Monday, as the same as a week from Monday for us, because we know that our conference is really challenging. St. Pete, somebody told me the other day that St. Pete was the best team they saw in our conference, and St. Pete doesn't have a very good record. Hillsborough was one game away from going to the World Series last year. They don't have a very good record. Polk was in the World Series a couple years ago, and they don't have a very good record. But the thing I like about this conference and the coaches in this conference, they're all solid, they're all good coaches, and they all really challenge themselves in February. And in junior college baseball, you don't always find yourself in February. We do have the advantage. We have a really big understanding of who we are right now. We know what our strengths are. We don't have a set nine. We don't need a set nine. You could write the lineup on Monday, and I wouldn't care. I really wouldn't. I'd say, okay, that's fine. I'll go with those guys, because I feel like we're solid all the way around, and I think that's kind of our identity, is that there hasn't, like I said, who knows, is Kinch going to play? I don't know. I know Bagniski's not going to play, and then Morales he'll be fine. Morales was sick these last couple of days, but we're strong up the middle too. We pitch and we throw strikes, and I know they got a good guy on the mound Monday, but there's not many people that want to see the guy we got going Monday too. So should be fun.
Yeah, Ryan Gusto getting that start. Coach Ben Bezier, congratulations on the win today, and we look forward to some competitive conference games coming up.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And that'll just about wrap things up today from City of Palms Park here in Fort Myers, Florida, as the Bucks wrap up a win against Pasco-Hernando. Your final score in 9 innings, 5-3, as FSW improves to 18-3, and Pasco-Hernando falls to 8-11. The win today goes to Mason Adams as the Buccaneers get set for that big series with Manatee this week. Once again, our next broadcast will be Wednesday at 6 p.m. as they take on the State College of Florida. We'll be pumped to bring you that broadcast in a few days. For our entire team here at Florida Southwestern State College, I'm John Vitas saying have a good night. The Buccaneers get a 5-3 win. They are 18-3.